Okay, so this is example 3 of pretty much completely replacing a model. So basically doing a full like model replacement, like putting any character over a DVD Survivor. So first right now, I'm just getting my model, scaling it up to the size of the Dwight torso, which I also imported. Um, and then I'm just importing I'm importing the Dwight legs and all that, just so I can pose the model I'm going to replace it with, so Jonesy. Just so I can pose Jonesy as close to Dwight as possible. So you see, they're posed differently. Like the arms are going down instead of in the T pose that Dwight is. So what you're going to want to do is basically pose the model you have. So Jonesy, you want to take him and pose him as close as possible to Dwight. So you'll just want to go through. It makes it way easier if the model's rigged beforehand. You just want to go through and pose it and match up the fingers. You might have to scale everything down. Just note when you're like moving bones, you almost always want to be rotating. You never want to be using the move tool because that fucks with it a lot. So you basically just want to keep posing, and when you're done, it should look like it should be in the exact same position as Dwight is. So when you're done, it'll be posed like this. I've obviously already done this, but it does take quite a bit of time. So I think, what do I do here? I think I was just skipping through and seeing exactly how I wanted to do this, like showcase this, but I think I ended up going out of this, yeah. So I'm basically as if I just exported this from Fortnite, and you're just posing it like as close to Dwight as possible. Obviously, this is really rough, but this is just as an example. I would obviously spend way more time posing it than like just moving a little bit. So once you've posed it, you can obviously see that its pose position and its rest position are not the same. So to apply its pose position to its rest position, you need to go into the mesh's modifiers, add an armature modifier, and then add for the object, put the skeleton, and then apply the first one like I just did. And it'll look weird, but after that, you want to go into click on the skeleton, go in pose mode, and then go do apply and apply as rest pose. And this is basically just going to make it so your pose and your rest position are exactly the same. So you'll see me do that in just 1 second. Obviously, you can slow this video down if you need more context. So this is just like a quick run through. So now my rest position and my pose position is the same. And now I'm going to import Dwight's torso, which is what I'm putting Jonesy over. Forgot to scale that, uncheck scale down there. So, I need to scale Jonesy up. And I'm pretty much pretending that I match this up as closely as possible. But obviously, it's not perfectly matched up. So what I'm doing next is naming the mesh. I'm deleting the skeleton that came with Jonesy basically, because I've just posed it how I need it. So I'm not going to need that skeleton anymore. And then I'm renaming the Jonesy mesh the same as Dwight's torso. So I'm just renaming everything the same, like the mesh, the materials, the armature, like everything's getting named the same. And then after that, I delete the original Dwight mesh and shift drop it on the armature. I'm holding shift while I do that to set as a parent. And then go in the modifier settings, and for the object, select the skeleton of the character you're replacing it over. So as you can see, there is no animations, and this is because the bones that this skeleton uses are named completely differently than the bones that Jonesy's skeleton used when I exported it from Fortnite. So to solve this, you're basically gonna have to create your own weights and name them the exact same as the DVD weights. So for this, I like to do a like a double blender setup. So you're gonna see me open that in 1 second. I might have to black out the screen or something while I open my blender. But just to note, your mesh also might come with weights already. This is just like if it doesn't. If it comes with some already, you can kind of rename if they're similar enough looking. But like if they vary too much and they're not like the Dead by Daylight weights, then you'll have to just completely rename them, even if it's already posed. So yeah, I have 2 blenders set up, and I'm just right now I opened Dwight in the second blender, and I'm just looking at his weights and copying the names and pasting them into the new group in for Jonesy. Excuse me, by the way, it's a little bit late. So yeah, I'm making a new group, and I'm just sorted by name there for organization. I'm making a new group and naming it the exact same as the weights Dwight has, and then I'm weighting it the exact same as it is on Dwight. As you can see, I'm comparing the two. I forgot to go in rest position before I did these weights, so I'm just gonna go put it in rest right there. And you're literally going to do that for every single joint that the original skeleton has. So I just did it for like his back, and you literally just go down the list and do it for every single one. It is a bit tedious. It can take a couple hours depending on how many weights your model comes with. Again, you can like shorten the process by using weights it already has and renaming them, but they're not always like formatted correctly, if that makes sense. So if you go and look in the animation, now it's starting to move a little bit, and you're just gonna have to do that like pretty much one by one for every bone. There are ways to shorten it and shorten the process that you'll just learn through experience, but this is just a guide basically for now. So hopefully that wasn't too brief. Hopefully I don't sound too tired right now. But after you finish, it should look fine in Blender. So this is just the finished model that I've done a bit ago. Obviously, if I import an animation, then if I import an animation, it'll move correctly, and it won't be like not moving or barely moving. As you can see, like I've deleted pretty much all the original weights and replaced them with the names of DVD weights and painted them. I've done this for literally like every weight. So I'm just gonna import an animation, show you how it looks. When you play it, looks great in Blender. One thing about viewing animations in Blender, no matter what, the fingers, elbows, and knees will always look like weirder than they should. So if your fingers look like slightly messed up and your knees and arms just look like slightly weird, don't worry about it too much. It shouldn't look like too terrible, your fingers. Like if they look like worse than this, then you're probably doing something wrong. But like when I export this and put it in the game, the fingers aren't gonna look fucked up like they do in Blender right now. Same with the knees and the elbows. It's just, I don't know, the way it shows in Blender. But obviously if they look like weirder than this, then you might want to check that out. Playing animations in Blender though is a great way to like see how your animation's gonna see how your character's gonna move without like having to import it into the game and such. So after that, obviously, also you can see that I posed it to be like almost the exact same as Dwight's like rest pose. So like it's like the fingers are basically clipping into each other. Like I posed it almost the exact same, and I obviously did this for like the legs and the head too. So if you don't do this, it'll like, you can't be lazy with models. Basically, it does take quite a bit of work. But if you do all this correctly, which you're probably not your first time, it took me quite a bit, but if you do all that correctly, then you should be able to completely replace models in Dead by Daylight. So, yeah.